All right, so this flow is going to call out to this Microsoft endpoint, and that is going to, it's going to pass an ID, which will get the Salesforce record and populate this Word template and save a copy of it in this SharePoint repository. And it's actually basically no code, no Apex types required. And I'll walk through that real quick. Maybe. All right, so let's see what happens. Run the flow. All right, and so that called here, I can see it in my runs, but we'll go forward to here and hopefully we'll see a file. Yeah, there it is. And sure enough, it's got my first name, last name, and email. And so this required an external service. But if you send the body as an object, then you have to use an Apex data type to populate the object. But what I realized is instead I said type of string. A lot of cut and paste here from like the OpenAPI docs. But if I do it this way, Microsoft doesn't accept just a string, it's expecting an object in the body. So what I did was, how the pros do it, a hand-rolled little JSON in the flow. And now, sure enough, all I'm passing is the ID. So, it's pretty simple. And then, Microsoft gets what it expects. And it works. If it's interesting. Otherwise, there was no error being thrown. It just completely ignored it if I was just sending a string. But sending the body, it worked. And so I saved the external service itself that I used here. But it's basically the idea here. It's almost as simple as an outbound message, right? You're just sending an ID, and then Microsoft can consume that ID, and then you can do whatever the heck you want because you don't need to send anything else, right? And so this was the trick, setting the type to a string and then rolling the JSON in the flow directly means no Apex required at all. That's it. It's kind of fascinating that this worked.